On this episode of iFilmmaker, we talk about dealing with tough clients. Welcome to another episode of iFilmmaker. My name's Ariel Martinez. And you know what, bud? You should start introducing yourself.
Really? I need to introduce me? No. I like it when you introduce me. It sounds much more formal that way. I'm too lackadaisical.
And as always, with me, my brother, my partner in crime, Mr. McCoy. We're gonna nickname you that, Mr. McCoy. So
Yeah, but
I
don't think you're ever going to do any crime. You're way too Christian for that. If anyone's doing crime, it's me. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. I'm the rational one of the two, talking you out of it.
That's true. I want to swear on the podcast, but you won't let me. Yeah.
No, man, none of that. I'm not putting this as explicit. We're not giving that title. How have you been, man?
Oh man,
how's your week been?
It's one of those weeks, and I think any freelancer knows exactly what I'm talking about. Where I don't even know what day it is. I've been staying up every morning to like 7 a.m. editing.
Yeah,
and a lot of the issue is like, I've got some clients that are based on the East Coast. So
Right.
West Coast. They're in California, and
Okay.
So when it's like 9 o'clock to them, it's midnight here, and they think they can send me edit notes at 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night, and think that should be done in the next few hours. So then I'm editing to 3, 4, 5, and even this morning 7 this morning. So
ouch.
yeah, one of those situations where everyone wants their video, like I said the other day, yesterday. So yeah.
That's the deal with this industry, man.
Yeah, and the problem that I have though is I have been for the last maybe 2 years, I've been desperate to get myself an editor, someone who can I can just hand off the footage, that can cut a great video. And for some reason, I think I said this to you a couple of weeks ago, every editor that does it full time that I come across is like, they're like misfits. They always agree, yeah, I can do it. They tell me, yeah, they'll get it. And as soon as I'm about to send off the video, oh, they're too busy now. They've taken another work, or they just don't reply, or their rates fluctuate from $1,000 for a job. Oh, no, I want $5,000 now. I'm like,
Well, how long after they agree to do it and you send them the footage? How much time is in between?
each one varies. So a lot of them, I touch base with them. I speak to them about their rates, and then I have a job come up, and so sometimes it's like a week, sometimes it's that day.
Oh, okay. So when you talk to them, you're not talking about a specific project. You're talking to them about like future projects.
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
So
Well, in that case, it's always good to have multiple editors on call.
I do, but they're all the same.
Oh man.
The problem is if I'm taking a job for $1,000 or $2,000, right?
Right.
And so then I'm trying to pay out an editor. Yeah, they want like 750 as a minimum. Yeah. So a lot of that time when I'm looking at it, I'm like, wait, I only got paid $1,500 for it. So what, I'm going to give you half, or I'm going to give you, if I got 1,000, I'm going to give you 3/4 of it. So in the end, I just bite the bullet and do it myself.
But when you tell them, hey, I have this budget for this edit, so I can, you don't tell them. I mean, do you tell them what you're getting paid, and then you tell them what you can afford to give them? Always.
See, I'm one of the people, I don't really care how much I make on a gig. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I'm kind of picking jobs that I like doing. So I'm pretty like I'm forthright with anyone. I'm like, well, this is how much I made. Here's how much I can pay. I try not to hide anything.
Right. And I won't hide it myself, but I usually don't volunteer that information. Because I don't want them. I guess even if they might not think I'm gypping them, which I usually try not to do. I usually am fair. If I'm doing work and they're doing work, I try to be fair with both sides. But for example, if sometimes I can't make a shoot for whatever reason, I'm sending somebody else off, I'll just tell them what I have decided I can afford to pay them.
Right.
If it's my client and I myself cannot get the job done, I'm not going to get zero money for that, because I think it's still worth something that it's my client and I'm bringing this guy to work. I'll probably keep maybe $100-200, which is nothing. But and I'm giving the other guy the
Right.
rest. But I don't think it's necessary that I tell them this is all that they're paying. I'm going to keep this much and I'm going to give you this much. But if they ask for it, I'll tell them I'm not hiding anything. It's just I wouldn't necessarily volunteer that off the bat.
Yeah, I guess the problem is, well, a lot of the editors that I'm doing with, are pretty decent, and so I mean, their rates are pretty much non-negotiable. Yeah, so when you get to that standard, it's nice. Was that your phone going off?
I think it was my computer.
See, look, I'm professional. I'm
I'm
Mr.
sorry, man.
Martinez.
What a fail.
Anyway, so the point of my story is I've been up late cutting video and so actually, if you actually look, you can see this in the video now. Look, this is my life right now. 1, 2, how many we got here? I'm counting my hard drives. 3, 4. I'm showing them on camera. 5.
How awkward we get.
6, 7. Oh my god, these aren't even all of them. 8, 9, 10, and
you got
the big
10 hard drives going on there,
and the big lacy on the desk over there. That's always there. So, and I think that's a 20 terabyte one on my desk. So
you just reminded me. We have to. I need to get myself a webcam because I think it's cool. I mean, it'd be better off if we could at least look at each other, at least through FaceTime or something, which I can still record.
Well, I can do that.
And I know you can because you're using your laptop. But
wait, what computer are you on?
I'm on the Mac Pro.
Oh, yeah.
So I need to get a separate webcam, which I had one before, and I was planning on using that for some live stuff, like basically stuff like this. Then I decided to use my own camera, which I returned the webcam, and now I wish I would have kept it because I could have, I didn't know that I was going to be like this, so now I guess I'll get it back. No. But I think it's cool, like things like this, you could just show me and I guess react to it. So
now you're going to have to watch the video to my right.
Exactly. Oh, man. Hey, so I got to tell you, so after last week, I had a shoot. Last week, Tuesday, I had a shoot all the way in Fort Pierce, and I told you about that.
Yep.
It was by far the most uncomfortable shoot I've ever done. Really? By far.
Wait, how so?
Because aside from the fact that I had to wake up at 3 a.m. to, load up my gear and all that stuff and be at Fort Pierce, which is a 3-hour drive by 7 a.m, to start shooting and whatnot. And, that alone was, anyways, it was a really, really hot day. And so this documentary that we were shooting had to do with agriculture and whatnot. And so all the interviews, everything was outside. Mm-hmm. And for some reason, it was 95 degrees that day, and the humidity was at like 95%. Mm-hmm. And it was just absurd. So I was wearing my not black, but it's like dark navy blue jeans, thick jeans, and a, dark green shirt. Very, very uncomfortable. Aside from the fact that I sweat profusely. I sweat so much.
Okay.
And so in one of the interviews, and in this particular shoot, I was a one-man band. I didn't have any help. Mm. So I was running back and forth, getting all my gear, making sure everything was fine. And we had an interview set outside. The clouds were not helping. The sun was coming in and out, washing out my shot, then putting it back to normal. So I had to get my big pop-out bounce board, the diffuser section, and just hold it up myself. All while not monitoring the camera. So I can't even tell if it's still recording, I don't know, it was just a very uncomfortable shoot. And as I'm holding this thing up for literally 30 minutes, the most uncomfortable position I've been on. I had to literally hold it up over my head for 30 minutes. It was just...
That's my TV.
Whoa.
So I paused it. So, keep going.
Double fail.
I'm just trying to make you feel comfortable here. I'm trying to, you make a mistake, I make a mistake, yeah?
Thank you for thinking about me,
always here for you. Continue, because at the moment, all I'm hearing right now is that it was a hot shoot and you were sweating a lot. So
it was insane. And Okay, so I sweat so much. So after that, I'm drenched in
Uh-huh.
sweat, right? The humidity, the heat, and I'm touching all my gear. And let me tell you, I've sweat before with my gear and whatnot, but when I'm prepared for it, like for example, when we shot at Wadapalooza, I knew that I was going to be running around and sweating, so I dressed the
Mhm.
part. You know, I dressed with my shorts and a very thin dry fit shirt, and I had a towel with me because I know I sweat. And I was ready for that, you
Right.
know. But in this shoot, oh my god, it was terrible. So what I did after that day, I decided, man, I have to get some more appropriate clothing for days like this. I really don't have any clothes, like some shooting clothes, to to beat days like that where I don't want to exactly wear shorts
Mm.
like regular basketball shorts to go out and shoot with these professional clients of mine. So what I did, and I thought about this brand. It was Columbia. A friend of mine had told me about
Yeah.
it. And so I went to Bass Pro Shops and I was looking for these shirts. And what I found was these really, really nice, I think it's a fishing brand,
Okay.
the Columbia, the shirts that I picked up.
Mm.
But it's like really, really good dry fit material. I'm actually wearing it right now because I knew I was gonna
What
mention
the
it and I
shirt?
wanted to I'm wearing it now,
Okay.
so you'll see it in the video. It feels really, really good, you know. And so today was a perfect day. I had to shoot today. I put it to the test. My God, it was like night and day. The cool thing was I was doing an outdoor interview for 30 minutes. Again, I was in the same exact position, except I wasn't holding the board. I was just like behind the camera, but the sun was just beaming down on us. And I felt great.
Mm.
I felt great, and this shirt was ridiculously
But
awesome.
don't you have a standard
And
uniform, like a tie that you generally wear on a shoot? You
no,
don't?
no, I never established that myself, and it's good we're talking about it now because I think it's good. You want to be obviously you want to know what to expect, but I sometimes I don't know what to expect. Like today, I didn't know what to expect, so I just put this shirt on, and I had bought two of them. They're actually quite expensive. It was like $55 each.
Ah, that's not too bad.
Um,
Uh,
Yeah, it's
but
not too bad considering what I got out
is
of
it one of
it.
those
Like today,
breathable, like microfiber, like a
oh,
fitness shirt? You know what I mean? Is it one of
uh,
those like that material?
yeah, but it's yes, but it's the same dry fit
Mm.
material, but it's like it's a button down, very classy, and it looks professional, you
Classy.
know. And yeah, it looks really good. It's a button down with a collar and everything.
So wait, for
And it,
usual, like you just wear whatever shirt, shorts, or pants and shoes. You don't like. What do you usually wear when you go to a shoot?
yeah, so usually I have my regular denim jeans and a t-shirt.
Oh yeah, see, I couldn't do jeans on a shoot. Do you do jeans on a shoot?
I do jeans on a shoot, man.
Man, see, I don't. I the same as what we were talking about the other day in traveling. My kind of travel outfit is pretty much what I shoot in. I'm all black, and pretty
Okay.
much everything I have on is usually Lululemon. You know, I wear one of those black fitness shirts, like just a regular t-shirt that they sell, but they're like $90. But the benefit of that, they're really breathable, and if you're sweating, you don't have these like sweaty armpit stains underneath. So I pretty much I keep that, and then if I can, if it's not too hot outside, I always wear like these kind of long pants that have a few different zips on them, and so I can throw
Hmm.
SD cards in and not have to worry about them falling out of my pocket. So if
Right.
it's really hot, then I wear shorts with them, and again, they're pretty much Lululemon. So it's because a lot of time
Gotcha.
with running and gunning as well, like I am running, literally running after people, following them around. I want to be like movable and like flexible. And
Right.
so having all black means even if I have to wear the same clothes on a shoot 2 days in a row, nothing really shows up. So I pretty
Hmm.
much keep that standard outfit. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah.
That's interesting. I mean, I think for me, and I mean, I guess it's preference. But for me, I like to. I don't know. It's something. I mean, wearing shorts. I mean, for shooting like a Wadapalooza or some sort of athletic or fitness event like that, where I'm running around all day and there's athletes and that's the vibe there. I think it's okay. Um, I don't know. I like to. I guess not look like I'm going to play some sports.
Well,
You
no, I
know?
don't think like if I'm in all like if I'm just in a black shirt and so that's why I like those Lululemon even if they're shorts. Yeah. They're not like they're
Right.
not gym shorts. They're kind of like the nice sort of casual shorts. So you
Right.
can wear them even like I feel comfortable wearing them to a restaurant. And then a black t-shirt,
Mm,
even though it's a fitness shirt, it still looks a little bit, a little bit more professional. Um, and
gotcha.
the other thing I've been doing, which I think has been a godsend a lot of the time, I've got one of those North Face jackets, uh, and that
Mm,
has like the
okay.
zippers in like the armpits as well. So if it gets really hot, and I still need to wear, I can unzip that. And it's got a hoodie, and the advantage of that, which has saved me a couple times. So very rarely, being a typical dude, I very rarely
Right.
bring an umbrella with me anyway. Yeah. Um, and I never keep
I
those, those.
I keep an umbrella in the
Yeah,
car.
see, that's where we're different. Yeah. Um, well, I never keep those, for the backpacks that they give you with like a Benro bag or like a Manfrotto bag or a think tank bag. They give you like those waterproof cases that you can wrap around your bag. I never keep them.
Oh
I never
yeah.
keep them. I just throw them on the side.
Oh yeah, me too. I
Well,
don't use
those are
those.
great if all of a sudden you're doing a time lapse or you're getting a shot, you're finishing off an interview, and it just starts to rain. Uh, but because I never have
Mm,
that, always having a jacket, I'm always wearing a jacket. Again, for the same reason, having zips in my pants, because I can always throw a lens in there or an adapter or a couple of batteries. But having
right.
a jacket that's waterproof, that has a hoodie, the amount of times I've just thrown that over the top of my camera and just finished off the shoot or finished off the interview, that saved me so many times.
Right.
So that's my tip. Always bring a jacket, Ariel. Uh,
Well, I'm in Miami, man. I'm in
What, does
Miami.
it never
To
rain in
even
Miami?
well, of course it
Yeah, that's
rains, but I don't use a jacket. I use an umbrella.
man,
I mean, I'm not gonna carry a poncho around with me.
fine. You carry your umbrella. I'm never carrying an
I
umbrella. I'm
mean,
already carrying. How do you carry an umbrella
I
to the
think I
shoot?
use it.
Uh,
I don't carry it. I keep it in my
yeah, and
car.
so all of a sudden it starts raining a little bit. You got to race up to your car. Where I just take my jacket off, bang, throw it over the top of the camera, and
But there's no possible way that I would ever be able to wear a jacket. Didn't I just tell you like how hot it gets in my shoes? And I sweat profusely. I sweat very easily.
So wait,
It doesn't take long for me to
let
sweat,
me
man.
just clarify for a second. So was that the reason why it was a horrible shoot because it was hot outside? Is that basically what I'm getting from you?
It was a very, very horrible shoot because yes, it was hot. But more than anything, not because of how hot it was, but yeah, it was hot and I've shot in hot days before, but how I was not prepared for it.
Okay.
I wasn't prepared for the heat. Let me clarify. I don't mind sweating, and I sweat a lot, and I kind of like that when I work out and when I'm ready to sweat, I'll sweat, and that's fine. I'm I expect it, but when I'm not dressed to sweat
Hmm.
and I'm trying to work, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? It just makes for a very, very uncomfortable
Yeah.
shoot. It makes me very, very uncomfortable scenario. And it was, I had to obviously keep my cool and, just continue on with my day. I mean, it at the end of the day, it ended up being a good shoot, but just very, very uncomfortable. It just made me realize, man, I have to get better apparel for work, man.
Yeah, I realized that a
So
while ago. So that's why I made that transition.
yeah, no. I think that your shoots definitely require a lot more of that than I do.
Yeah, because I'm doing a lot more of that fitness stuff. So
Exactly. Exactly. You're running a lot more than I am on set wherever we're shooting. So yeah, you would have definitely came to that realization a lot sooner than me. So
yeah.
that's expected.
Hmm.
Hey man, so I wanted to talk to you about some tough times, man.
Really?
So today I had a shoot, as I told you, it was a hot day and whatnot, but
Wait, this was today or this was the other day shoot?
this is actually today.
Wait,
This is actually
today
today.
was the shoot that you had that you were sweating? Oh,
No, I was sweating today, but today I was telling you that it felt really good today because I was wearing my new
oh.
shirt, my new Columbia shirt.
All right. Yeah.
So, man, my client today was really tough to deal with.
How so?
Really, really tough. So, let me let's start from the
God,
beginning.
I'd just be hilarious if I'm your client listening to
Yeah,
this.
man. And then I'm gonna ask you if you've ever had any tough clients, which I'm sure you've had. So I get a phone call a couple days ago, and random person, a guy with a company needing a job, documentary job, and said, "Hey, we're shooting in Miami. They're from New York actually, and they're coming to Miami. They need a videographer." And they found me and asked me my rate. We had to negotiate a little
How do
bit,
people usually
and he
find
said,
you, by the way?
"Um, he typed in Miami videographer,
Do you do Google
or
AdWords or
no,
anything like that?
he said he typed in Miami cameraman.
Okay.
Was
Do you
that?
do Google AdWords or anything like that, or
No, no,
so what
no.
pops up? Just your website, or
I honestly, I don't even know. I actually, I usually when they tell me that, before I would just go in and see where I would land, but I don't know. He just said he found a few people and he called a few people and he would then went to my website and and then he decided to call me and that's how we got
okay?
connected. Yeah, so I told him my half day rate. He said he only needed me for 2-3 hours, but to me, I mean that's a half day. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter
always.
how many hours
Right.
before. So even then, I had to negotiate. He had to, I had to bring it up because it was lower than my half day rate. And I said, well, can you meet me at my half day rate, and then you'll have me for 4 or 5 hours, and we're good. You don't have to worry about. So he said, sure. He agreed. So he got me my half day rate. Fine, great. And then the day before the shoot, his wife, because they're both partners, and they're I guess producing this together. His wife asked me, "Hey, can you get us a makeup artist?"
Okay.
I'm like, "It's the night before, so all right. What's your budget for the makeup artist?" $200.
Yeesh.
I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. Well, I'll see if any one of my friends would just want to go and win a quick $200. So, anyways, I go call around. No one's available.
Yeah, $200
And
last minute. Your rate's got to jump up.
yeah, I know, I
Yeah,
know.
but anyway,
I know. As soon as she told me that, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna find anybody
right.
good. So, I remember I got several emails like a couple months ago from people that were trying to work with me, and I searched my emails and I find, this makeup artist that and so I called her. She was available, and I got to know her a little bit, and her rate was actually usually 550, $600
Okay.
for a day,
Mm.
and I'm like, well, I really appreciate. She was gonna give me let me keep it at 200 just for this first job, and I'm like, I really appreciate it. Just obviously, I let her know how much I value it because I know that what it's really
Yeah.
worth. So, anyways, she was available. Great, she was gonna come, and that was at 9:30. Right, my client landed in Miami at 12 a.m. Then
Wait,
texted
wait.
me
12
saying,
a.m. or
"Hey,
12 p.
12, no, midnight."
Okay.
Then my client texts me saying, "Hey," and mind you, the everything was set. We're ready to go. The makeup artist was gonna drive over there and be ready to
Okay.
work at 9 a.m. My client texted me at 12:30 in the morning last night and said, "Hey, we don't need a makeup artist anymore."
Mm.
Oh my gosh! And now after
What's that standard? It's within like if it's within 24 hours, it's a cancellation fee, right?
yes, but these people don't function like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
These people are not. I could already automatically tell they're not
Yeah.
industry
Okay.
knowledgeable. So what I did was, I sent. I'm sure she was asleep, and she had kids too, because I heard her. I heard them when they were on the phone, but they were in the background. And I sent her a text. Look, I'm so sorry. They said, apparently they weren't gonna need a makeup artist, and I'm really sorry, but I will consider you for my next jobs. And definitely get you your rate next time. So it's embarrassing doing stuff like that. I
Yeah,
hate
I
it
hate it because you extend yourself. You pull out a
so
favor,
much.
and then
It
they
sucks.
screw
It
you.
sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really screwed me bad. So, anyways, we're set for a 4 to 5 hour day shoot. Whatever. I show up at 9. They actually invited me to breakfast. Great. We started shooting, and I started automatically noticing that the woman, the
Yeah.
wife, was just taking her time through everything. She's directing it and kind of co-hosting this documentary show that they're doing. And I'm like, and by the way, I previously told them I asked for payment the same day.
Okay.
So that's what I usually do with
How,
first time
how do you get
clients.
payment the same day? What do you use? So,
I ask for a
okay.
check.
Right.
Yeah, I usually prefer
Okay.
check. Don't have to deal with any fees. So, I they're telling me. I mean, not that they're telling me. I'm sorry. She's taking her time, and and we actually had a shot list. They had a shot list of shots that they wanted to grab, and here's the funny thing. I show up at the hotel that they were staying at because I thought, I guess it was a miscommunication that they were going to, we were going to do interviews at the hotel. That's what I understood. But apparently, no, it's actually, it was going to be, it's at a hair salon 30 minutes away from the hotel.
Mm.
And I'm like, why didn't we just meet there?
Because I've only got you. Did you lock down? So wait, did you lock down your hours prior to that? Did you say you had me from this time?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I told them 4 to 5 hours.
Yeah, but did you?
You want to meet at,
Okay, but did you say from you had me from 9 a.m. till?
yeah, they said we were supposed to be done by 1.
Okay.
We're done by 1.
Yep.
That was the
Okay.
agreement. This is where I'm telling you it gets, kind of not complicated, but it gets a little bit awkward later. So here's the funny part. So we're gonna go and start shooting at this hair salon, whatever. We're gonna meet this very famous hairstylist guy, and I'm like, okay, let's go do it. And so I said, let me put my equipment back in my car, and I'll go get my car, and I'll be ready to go. And so the woman had to go upstairs to get her dressed and whatnot. And okay, so she goes and does that. And as I'm waiting in my car, I tell them, well, I'm outside. In my head, I'm thinking they're gonna come down and get their car,
They don't have a car.
and they don't. I'm waiting in my car. I tell them, well, I'm waiting in the front for you, and I'm just thinking I'm gonna follow them to this hair salon.
By the way, are you using your pop filter? I don't think you are.
No, I'm not.
See, I can tell. Put your pop filter on. I got mine right here.
I know. I'm just talking a little too. No, one thing I noticed is that because of the angle of the camera, I have to lower my mic a lot more. So, and then my pop filter, the way it's placed, it was actually getting in the way of my hand. So
Get your pop filter.
it was getting crowded. It was getting crowded, man. Anyways, I'm gonna try to keep my mouth away from the mic. So I'm waiting in my car. This is where it's like 9:45 already, and at this point, and the next thing I see, they're opening the door of my car, and they're getting in my car. I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm gonna drive you guys 30 minutes out to this other location. All right. Let's do it. Me being the nice guy, sure, let's go. So we get there, we do the whole spiel, the whole shoot, and then we have to drive back to that hotel
Okay.
to do some more shooting. Which, by the way, at this point, it's 12 o'clock by the time we get back to the hotel.
Okay. All right.
It's 12 o'clock, and then they decide they want to grab lunch.
Oh, they want to grab.
And we're not even halfway done with our shot list.
Man, this happens all the time. This way, when people always say, "Oh, it's just a quick shoot. It's a quick shoot." Oh,
Yes, I know.
no such thing.
We're not even halfway done, and so, we're having lunch. It's 12:30, and I said, and I tell them, all right, well, and then the funny thing is, before we have lunch, this woman gets in a 1 hour phone call with her bank because of somebody used her card and whatnot. And I'm like,
Wait,
I'm just
for 1
sitting
hour?
there for 1 hour. No lie. 1 hour on a phone. By the way, they're not. They're like super. I think they're from like Turkey or something. But anyways, basically, the awkward part is where I tell them, hey, so you only have me for 30 more minutes, and we have a lot of shooting to do. In 30 minutes, I have to leave at 1. And they're like, well, we'll get it quick. So 1 o'clock comes around. We're not even close to done. And I have to tell them, look, I can stay and get the rest of the shots, but I'm going to have to charge you a full day's rate.
Have they already given you a check so far?
No, nothing.
They haven't written you a check? Okay.
No, nothing.
Yeah. Right.
So I told them I have to charge you a full day's rate because...
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, and I'm like, look, because the deal was, it was a half-day rate. I was supposed to be out of here by 1, and that's what you're paying for. But it seems like we're gonna be here for a few more hours.
Need to pay for my mileage too for
Oh my
driving.
God. No, I didn't even mention that. And I was, and the whole day I'm feeling them out. I knew that this was like whatever low. I don't know. They have money. First of all, they have money. They just didn't want to use their own money for this whole thing.
Okay.
And so when I tell them that, they were not happy
Well, they weren't happy that
at
they have to pay
all.
for a day rate now.
Yeah, exactly. So they
See, this happens all the time in this industry. That's like it happens a lot of time. Even like dancers or anyone in the arts or anyone like filming. Everyone just thinks, oh yeah, your time is nothing. Whereas you get anybody else, like
exactly.
say you want to extend a massage, okay?
Mm-hmm,
You want instead you want an hour. You want an hour and a quarter. They charge you extra. Yeah, like you like this. Oh, you get someone like to a handyman to come over your house and
yeah,
to do a couple jobs, and then say, oh wait, can you just fix a couple extra bookshelves?
exactly.
Yeah, they're going to charge you extra. There's no other like industry in the world that doesn't charge you extra if you need to stay longer and do more work.
Right, right.
Yeah. But wait, how were they upset though? Like, what did they say?
This woman goes and just does a little, one of those. Oh my goodness. And then the husband's telling me, well, we only had the budget of this much, which is my half day rate. And I'm like, well, I can't stay. You're basically using me to do a lot more work than what we agreed on. And
Right.
then we get into just a very minute conversation. Basically, I let him know that, I mean, I could stay and shoot, but I have to charge you. If not, then I have to go right now, and I can,
Yeah,
and then
absolutely.
you pay me in, and I'll give you the footage. Obviously, I'm not, and I knew from the get go, I'm not giving the footage, until I got the money.
Yeah.
And even that, I took a risk because they gave me a check, which I didn't even know was going to clear, but whatever. And here's the funny part. So whatever, they agreed, fine. And then like at the end, the woman was like, all right, just give them just pay him the full day rate and whatever. She wasn't happy at all.
So what time did you finish up
I
instead?
finished at 6, man.
Oh man, that's a full day.
That's a full day.
Yeah.
From 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. It's a full day. So they had to, I'm like, look, guys, you take, and a lot of, bro, dude, like, honestly, it wasn't even that much footage that I got. Most of it was just a lot of chit chat. They just took their time. So they didn't respect my time. Or they just did not know how things function in this industry, which is really strange because they were telling me they do this all the time. They do a lot of documentary work and a lot of well-known work and whatnot. And I seen their work. It's whatever, between you and
Dude,
me,
yeah.
it's whatever, it's okay.
I'm finding more and more that every time that I've worked with someone's budget or I've tried to, okay, that's what you're dealing with, or I'll reduce my rate.
Okay.
Even recently, I have found that anytime I reduce my rate, that it comes with nothing but hassle. Yeah. It's one of those weird situations.
Right.
Whenever I've charged more or I've had a big client come along and I know it's a big job and I'm like, man, I would do that job for, let's say, X amount. And instead I go, well, I know this client's going to pay more and they're asking for a lot. And I'll triple the amount or double it. Anytime like that and they say yes, it's a weird thing. The more people pay, the better I get treated. The more respectful people are about my time.
Of course, because it's their money.
But it's always those cheap little jobs that you kind of, all right, you extend yourself, you do those little favors where I found that a lot of the time, the people don't respect you for it.
Yeah.
They kind of push you and push you and push you. Oh, you've already cut your rate in half. So there's something weird about that where I'm learning more and more. That's like the worst thing to do. Whatever your rate is, you have to be, you got to
be firm.
And
yeah,
and I'm not saying that I am because I am flexible, but I'm coming like, especially the last few months, I've been working with a lot of different people, and every time I've done that, it's backfired. I always found that they're always pushing me to do more instead of like just filming. Oh wait, can you just do a quick edit on that? Cut me an Instagram video. Oh wait, can you cut me 4 Instagram videos?
Oh yeah, I've gotten those.
And so it's one of those things like I'm learning more and more. And I don't like contracts. I like just to keep my word and do the work that I'm saying I'm going to do. But it's more and more I'm finding you have to be very, very specific. Yeah. So, and make sure I have everything down in writing. So it's something that I still am not doing 100%, but I have to be a little bit more stringent
Yeah,
with it.
me neither. I'm guilty of that as well. I got to get more
Yeah.
things in writing. It's just a bunch of these small. Like today was a very small project.
It's
Um,
always a small project though
yeah,
you have
yeah,
those issues on, man.
yeah. It's a quick project. Here's the thing. I never for 1 second, because I know that they have money. Um, and so I never got the feeling, and usually I'm a good judge of this.
Mm.
I never got the feeling that they didn't have the money to do it.
No, of
My
course. It's
thing,
always
what I
yeah.
knew was is that these people are being very cheap, and they just don't, they're trying to live that glamorous lifestyle and have that glamorous attitude where they're not respecting the time that is being put into this, and because I gave them, and I had to, they told me their budget, and I told them, well, let's bring that up because my half day rate is this. If you could meet me at this, then you don't only have to hold me for 2 hours. You can have me for 4 hours and not have to worry about. And even that, it turned into 8 hours, and
Well,
and
I'm
it was.
I'm gonna have to do. I'm gonna have to deal with something like that tomorrow.
Oh
So
yeah.
I'm dealing with a client tomorrow who I have been giving discounts to, and have told them for the longest time that this is a rate I'm doing for you because they had a lot of jobs on.
Mm.
But I'm telling them tomorrow. Sorry, I've done all those gigs for you at that rate. It's now you got to pay my usual rate. And it's one of those situations you have to be prepared to walk away from the work a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
uh,
because man, I've been in those situations where, and I'm sure you have too, where especially in the beginning of my career, I completely undercharge, and then I'm stuck with an agreement where I have to do all this work, and then when I see the pay from all that, I cannot believe I just did all that for this much money.
well, it's one of those things when you actually break it down
Mm-hmm.
and you look at the amount of hours it takes you, and this is what people don't consider:
Yeah.
the setup time to pack your gear for every shoot, get on that shoot, to set up, get the interviews done, shoot everything, get everything done appropriately, plus making sure you either rent or buy the gear. And 99% of the time, I've bought my own gear. It's one of those situations. By the time you break it down, sometimes you're like, man, I'm better off working at McDonald's. If you break down the amount of hours,
Yeah.
yeah, everyone's like, oh, you made a few $1,000s for that gig. But yeah, I've also had to buy several $1,000s worth of gear leading up to that. The amount of time I've had to shoot and then edit. Like when you break down the amount of hours, because a lot of the gigs that I'm doing, I'm shooting and editing.
Right.
The time you break that all down, you're like, man, there's really not that much money after you pay tax. You're like, man, what am I really working for? So if you're not getting a bit like, I respect what you did today because to be honest, I probably would not have done it. Just probably would have just let
Oh,
it slide, especially if I didn't have anything on after.
it's
I kind of like,
but wait a minute,
yeah, okay.
it's not over.
Oh, okay.
This is like the cherry on top, though.
Give it to me.
So at the end, this part just made me laugh. At the end, they the whole time I'm thinking, I knew he had a MacBook Pro with him, so I'm thinking maybe they want me to dump the footage, at the end
Yeah.
of the shoot. So I'm thinking, all right, it's already 6 o'clock. It's 10 minutes to 6. I got my gear packed up. We're wrapped up. We're done. We're good to go. They're getting my valet. They're paying for my valet and whatnot. This is where I tell you,
Give me my
I
check.
know that they have money. I know that they have money, and because they have no problem paying. We had we had breakfast and lunch, and super expensive. They don't care. I know that they have money. They're just super cheap.
Hmm.
They're so the guy tells me, so do you have the footage? I'm like, yeah. I'll send you a Dropbox link. Oh, well, do you have the chip? The chip? Well, this is my chip. Well,
You talk about the SD card,
SD
right?
card.
Yeah.
It was a 128 Lexar, and
Yeah.
I'm like, well, this is my chip. Well, we'll pay for the chip. How much is it? I was like, oh my goodness. So I just told $100, and
Yeah.
I'll give
Yeah.
you the chip. I don't care. And all right, so they had to write another check for $100, just so that they can keep the chip. And again, I'm taking the risk of the checks not clearing. So I gave him everything. I gave him the footage. I gave him
Ooh,
essentially
that's risky, man.
it is scary. It is scary. But again, like I told you, and I guess we'll follow up on the next podcast, but it is scary. But again, I don't think that aside from the fact, I mean, they were at this really nice, glamorous hotel dealing with glamorous people. Um,
Oh yeah, because no one ever sketchy has ever booked into an expensive hotel to
you're,
get
you're,
to pull off a
right. You're
scam.
right. But if you were there with me, man, you would see the vibe as well. And I'm pretty much going off of that. If I had any doubt that they didn't have the money, like, or that check would not clear, I wouldn't have done that. But
Dude, I've watched too many episodes of American Greed.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
okay. Well, there you go. It's to get off the TV then. But no, you're right. You're absolutely right. I am still, even with all that, I'm still taking the risk that their check might not clear, and this might turn out to be a loss. Because I mean, they might disappear, or they might just, if it does, at worst case scenario, it doesn't clear. I contact them, they contact me back, and make everything right. Actually, no, that's not even
or
worst
not,
case scenario
or
would
not.
actually be it doesn't clear. I contact them and they're nowhere to be found.
Yeah,
And
that's a.
and
I've never been in that situation, but
it's a
I pretty
risk.
much standard rule. I just never just hand off footage like that unless it's a client that I know that I'm working with on a regular basis, and I'm just
You're right.
dumping footage
You're
for them.
absolutely right. I can never
Uh,
recommend anyone to do that. I can't definitely.
well, especially if it's the first time, I would just say, look, yeah, it's a standard policy. I hold on to my footage. Once I process the payment,
Yeah,
I ship everything out to you.
you're
So
absolutely right. um, and you know what? I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that I just wanted to get the heck out of there. And but yeah, I could never recommend anyone to ever do that. I am taking a very big risk that it might.
especially if it's a random person that just found you off the internet. I mean, like I said, if it's I've done many shoots where I'm literally just a camera person. Even yesterday, was it yesterday? I was on a shoot. And
Yeah,
I was just literally setting up my camera and putting the card in and hitting record.
yeah,
I never touched the footage or anything. But in that situation, even that, I was on a freelance shoot here in New York, shooting a commercial, and even then, I got paid cash, on the spot. So halfway through the day, they handed me the cash. I didn't really care what I was doing. I knew I was already paid. Yeah.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. They were actually they were actually planning on paying me cash. He was gonna give it to me, but because we went to a full day's rate, they didn't have enough cash, so they had to end up writing the check.
I want to know if this check clears.
We'll find out. We'll follow up with this story. Uh, I think it wouldn't be a problem. But yeah, it is definitely risk. It was not smart of me to do that. Um, but man, I got to tell you this, it wasn't that they were a tough client. They were an inconvenient client.
Well, that's what most of them are, though. I've
Yeah.
never really had a really bad client come along. I've never really dealt with a situation. What I've dealt with is people that kind of like push time limits, like kind of stuff you around with in regards like, oh, we're sending the check next week. Oh, we're sending the check the week
Yeah.
after, and then situations where I haven't been specific when I've sent off a video and said, okay, how it works is I'll send off the video and you get 2 edit requests back or 3 edit requests back.
Right.
Because that's the biggest issue that I'm finding these days.
The
Oh, yeah, I'll
revisions
send off
and
the video.
revisions and revisions.
I don't mind doing one revision, but once I've done one revision, send that back off, and they all of a sudden have a light bulb moment and decide, oh, actually,
Yeah.
let's go a totally different direction.
Yeah.
Especially on shoots where I've cut to the music, I'm like,
Oh,
no, you don't
those
understand.
suck.
It's not as easy just to.
Can you change
sub
can you change the music? We're not crazy about it. Well, then they don't understand. You got to change the edit now.
Yeah, yeah, that's the difficult thing. So I've never really dealt with really bad people. I've had people push those boundaries, but like I said, dude, that's going back to that core thing. The more I'm filming and the more freelance gigs I'm taking, I'm just realizing you have to be really, really specific about this is your time you're doing things, this is what you get, and this is what you do. And it's something that's a learning experience that I'm still going through because I like to, like I said, I like to be chilled about it.
Yeah.
But anytime like those people kind of push those boundaries, like the first sign should have been at 12:30, they're messaging you, telling you they're canceling the makeup artist. I would have been like, well, she's already confirmed. You need to you need to pay a cancellation rate. But again, you don't want to like ruffle any feathers. I'm in that position a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. I think what I need to do is something like that where I need to have And I do. I have a drawn up agreement, but I don't use it nearly as much as I should.
Neither
Um,
do I.
yeah, no, and here's the thing: the makeup artist was extremely professional. She was
Mm.
very professional because she was already sending me said great, and she sent me over the proposal for the $200 that she was going to give it to us, but in that I guess proposal slash estimate, it said that all, payments must be made within 30 days of the project. It'll be a 1 point something fee for every month that is late, which is really nothing. But I mean, it states things there where you're in a pretty much a contract. You
Yeah,
know.
that's a funny thing. Going against exactly what I said about editors earlier, professional editors, I've always found that makeup artists are some of them like most put together
Mm,
people I've ever met. They're always so structured. They're always on time. They always have their contracts ready to go.
mm.
I don't know if it's because they're doing a lot of weddings and so they have to be very specific, especially dealing with people in weddings.
Bridezillas.
Uh, yeah, I don't know if it's because of that or just because they're just very structured type of people that go into makeup.
Right, right, right.
I've always found that they've always got their stuff together.
Man, speaking of receiving payment, you know who it was tough to get payment from? Burger
Ooh, who?
King.
Oh, wait, but that wait is it? See, that's because it's a large company. Anytime you deal with a large, it's never tough. It just wait. When you say tough, do you mean it just took a while?
It took so long. No,
Yeah, well,
and
that's standard. Though.
yeah, well, here
90 days or
60 days. No, 90
yeah, that's
days. Come on.
60 is standard with it. I just dealt with a company that was literally taking 60 days to pay, and that was one of the reasons I joined QuickBooks because they could pay through credit card.
Mm.
If otherwise, they had to go through their accounting department, and I literally had to wait 60 days, and it was 60 days from the first of the next month. And I did my first shoot with this company, I think on like the 4th of the month. And they were like, we send it off to accounting. And then it's 60 days from the first of the following month. So in that instance, I was like, that's almost 3 months.
No, man.
So any of those big companies I've dealt with are like 60
But
days.
here's what I mean. No, and yeah, their standard is 60 days, but I'm there shooting them an email a week after the 60 days has expired.
Oh, no, still late.
They're still late. And I said, "Hey, this payment is due." They owed me $4,500 on 3 different projects that I did with them. They've used everything. Like I seen it on their Instagram, on Burger King Instagram. They're using my pictures already. They've been
And
using it. They're
did
using
you end
it
up
like,
getting paid?
huh?
Have you ended up getting paid?
Yeah, yeah. Finally, I got paid. I got paid. Obviously, once I already like emailed them and said, "Hey, I have two invoices that are already past the 60 days, and the third one actually I haven't received. I think maybe this week would be make it 60 days or something like that.
Mm.
The 60 days is any day now, for the third project that I did for them. But man, I don't know. I mean, and again, this is Burger King. I would never think that they're not going to pay or they're going
Well, no,
to, you know.
that's the situation.
Yeah.
They always are going to pay.
Right.
It just takes a while.
Right, right, right.
And the hardest thing that people don't understand, which I'm always explaining, like friends of mine, I was for what I was doing, I was working for one company in particular.
Right.
And I changed my arrangement with them. They used to pay all my expenses, my flights, my accommodation, everything. And instead I worked out a new arrangement with them, whereas I would take care of all of that and they were gonna triple my my usual rate. I thought, great, because this company would always put me in these fancy hotels. Yeah, they would pick they didn't care what time of flight it was, and they would pick an expensive flight. So as opposed to doing a return flight for $500-600, if I left a few hours earlier or later in the day, I could get the same flight for $300. So I was like, and I would always look as well and say, like, oh, I could save some money here and there. So I thought, this is a great deal. But then what started happening is I was paying all my expenses up front, and they had an arrangement. Well, the arrangement always was that I would get paid on publish, and then the company would be slow to publish, or something would happen, and then an edit would take place, and they would take a while to get back to me. And so I started racking up all these expenses on my credit card. Now it's not their fault, totally mine. But when I'm a freelancer and then I'm thinking, all right, I'll have that job done by the beginning of next month, and then I'll invoice and I'll get paid for it. Even when like getting bills paid like a week or 2 weeks late for a freelancer like myself, And that's an absolute nightmare because I'm basically living paycheck to paycheck.
Right.
Yeah.
No, literally.
And so
Yeah.
people don't understand, like, wait, why is it you're doing so much work and you know, you're living paycheck to paycheck? I'm like, well, I've got like $20,000 or $30,000 worth of invoices sitting there. But a lot of these companies, some are 60 days, some are 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm juggling all these things and paying all my expenses out. So recently I've gone back to making sure that when I can, if there's flights or hotel rooms, I'm not paying it out of my pocket anymore. I'm literally saying, no, you guys pay it, you book it, and I'm taking that reduced rate instead. So
Yeah. Yeah. A bunch of one thing I'm not crazy about doing. I only do it for one client now. Is I pay for my own bookings and then they just send me a reimbursement check. It's well, the only client that I have on contract right now, which is Tying. I pay for all my bookings and whatnot, but I always trust like for example, last night I had to, for this upcoming trip now, I just paid like almost $800 worth of hotels and bookings and car rentals and whatnot. And I immediately send them all the expenses and everything so they can send me the check right away, just to cover it on my credit card and whatnot. So, but they're good about that. That's something also, you know. Oh man, there was this one time where my sister had a really good had a really good job. It's in Texas, and my this was my fault more than anything. I'm trying to help out my sister, and apparently her boss wanted to do some video production. They were gonna pay me really well and whatnot, and she goes, "All right, great." They agreed, everything. Let's do it. I went and prematurely booked a flight over there. I prematurely booked a flight, and they ended up backing out from the whole project.
Oh no.
And basically they weren't going to cover anything, and I was not about to raise hell with them because I don't want to make my sister look bad.
Right.
It was my sister's fault, but my fault because I should have known better. You know what I mean? I was trying to help, you know. It's just one of those things. It's just, I took the loss. I took a $500 loss. And you know, just because I don't want to call over there and just start making my sister look bad. She's gonna look really bad if I do that. And so I just, you know, obviously I was upset at my sister. She was.
Why did you get her to pay for it then?
She was not gonna be able to pay for that. She's a secretary there. But no, I wasn't gonna make her pay for it either. But
hey, I'm just sorry. I'm looking at my camera, and I think you need to bring my levels up. I think I'm a bit dark. I didn't bother to set up a light. We were in a rush to get this.
You're good, man. You're good.
You got to bring up those shadows, those midtones a little bit, I think.
We'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'll add a few of the Instagram filters on there.
Oh, yeah, put a filter on.
Yeah.
I'm actually torn about that on Instagram lately.
Why?
I'm always torn. I'm like, should I put a filter on my picture, or should I just put it out? I think I'm just going to start just putting out pictures just without any editing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the whole filter thing is annoying to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
sometimes I use filters, sometimes I don't. Huh? Was that?
And it's how much do people cultivate? I look at like some like photographers and videographers. I'm envious of their page. I'm like, damn, wow, you got your stuff together. And other times I'm like, man, it's a very curated page. It's good in one respect that you know exactly what you're getting with them.
Right.
But in other respects, I'm like, oh, man,
they're all over the place.
Well, no, I'm like, do you only have one style? I don't know. I'm torn with the whole Instagram thing. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. So, man, what would you tell someone? Like, what recommendations or tips would you tell someone that, you know, on how to deal with tough clients?
Well, I think it goes back to what I was just saying before. I think, and I have to take a little bit of my own medicine, like I keep saying, is that I'm pretty much at that point right now. Like I said, I'm going to tell a client tomorrow that I'm just now going to keep my stock standard rate. I'm really not. Unless it's a client that I'm going to do a lot of work for. But even then, you kind of get pushed around. I think it's one of those things, once you establish yourself a little bit and you figure out exactly how much you're charging for a day rate for yourself and your gear, I think it's one of the things you just got to stick to it,
Yeah.
and you have to be really hard line. And I've met people on shoots that are just extremely specific about it,
Right.
and they're the ones that seem to have the less hassle. Yeah. And I think you have to be very clear at the outset and make sure you get it in writing, whether it's on text message or email. And quickly, as soon as someone agrees, then you send that email. And I've done that a couple of times,
Okay.
just so I have it in writing. Yeah, whatever it is on the phone they state, I'll then just send a quick email, say, "Yep, just going over the points that we discussed today. You have me for a full day rate from 9 till X time.
Yeah.
Standard rate is X amount. Anything over that is this fee."
Yeah.
So you've already clearly got it written, and to be honest, that makes it so much. Every time that's happened, it's made it so much easier when I've given them a very clear rate sheet, and even if it's just in point form on email, and stipulated exactly how much it would be for
Right.
overtime. And then people know going in. And if you're very clear at that at the outset, it seems to avoid any of those issues. And again, it's one of those things. It's sticking hard to whatever rate that you choose is going to be your rate and sticking to it. And like I said, I've got to stick to that a bit better myself, because I'm always like, all right, what's your budget? All right, what can you do? Instead of just stating,
Yeah.
all right, well, okay, that's cool. Here's my day rate. Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Obviously, the example of today's shoot that I just went through was not a good example. But I definitely do need to. I usually when I have done that. You're right. Things.
Did you do that with them? Did you follow up with them and shoot them a message saying, here's my, as we agreed, here's the rate we're charging, anything
No,
over that is my full day rate?
no. We had.
So I think that's, I think that's key.
Well, here's the thing. They followed up with me. They were the ones that did that with me. I should have definitely done that with them as well. We did not. What they did not do, though, they said this is how much we're going to pay you, but they did not state how many hours we were going to be there. And that's,
well, no, that's what I'm saying. That's why you always go back.
I think if in retrospect, if I would have done that with them, I think they would have taken my time a lot more serious, and
Exactly.
wouldn't have had any awkward moments.
Yeah, and that's as well. That's the thing. As soon as you send that, it's basically, even if you think it's not going to go over that, you're basically covering yourself for a situation that arises today. That person is already prepared and knowing what they're getting into. So whether they acknowledge that message or not, you can say, "Oh, I sent it to you by email." And they open up and they see it there, and you've clearly stated it. It's kind of like there's no false advertising. You're not screwing anybody over. You're not all of a sudden saying, "Ha ha!" Like, yeah, we've gone. It's now 1:15, and now you're paying for a full day rate.
Yeah.
You've clearly stipulated. Yeah, if there's an hour extra on top of that, that's fine. It'll be this amount, and then any further than that, then it goes to the full day rate. So you can always give them a bit of wiggle room,
Right.
and say
I wasn't as firm, but yeah, I basically went lackadaisical on I guess my rate and our agreement. I didn't establish it as much as I should have. And here's the thing: I know this stuff, and I know that I should have done that. So. It's definitely something that I'm going to try and, have more set plan and follow up with my clients moving forward.
Something I've got to do, something I'm doing as well now. Like I said, I'm transitioning to that. I'm just going to keep whatever my stock standard rate is now. Yeah, I'm pretty much doing that. And the issue that I'm dealing with is a lot of the time was just like, friends and family as well. Everyone thinks, "Oh, you're just shooting some video. Oh, can you just shoot me a video like real quick?" It's that whole, just real quick.
It's never quick. It's never quick, man.
Yeah,
and that's the thing. That's something you just got to get tough on. Like, look, man, this is gonna take me a while. I have a friend that what I usually offer my friends and family, like that are getting married, I usually just offer them a free wedding video, but I don't go crazy like I would do a regular paid wedding. Most of the time it's because I'm usually a guest. I'm more of a guest than the videographer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't even mess with that. I've never even done a wedding. I don't even want to walk into that film. I was considering it for a short period of time.
No, for the right price, I'll definitely do a wedding for the right price.
Whoops.
That's the big that's the bold print right there, for the right price. But weddings are hard. But what I usually tell my friends and or family, I tell them like, look, they know what I do, and I knew it's either a matter of time that they're gonna ask me to do it anyways. And I said, look, I'll give it to you. It's my wedding gift to you, and that's usually what I tell them, and I don't mind at all. It's just gonna be me with my small A6300, just walking around as a guest, taking video clips the whole time, and then I'll just put a little piece together. Nothing crazy. Might take me an hour or two, but it's my gift to them, and that's usually how I treat it, and that's what I tell them. Like, and here's the key to that. Here's the key. Do not take any money from them. Even if they offer you $100, because whether that's what they can afford or not, do not take it. Why? Because then they're going to feel like you're obligated to give them that. Then they're going to, and I'm telling you from experience. I'm telling you from experience.
Did you take the $100?
No. It wasn't from a wedding. It was, I agreed to help a friend do a music video, right? It was a friend from a friend of a friend that we just basically knew each other in passing. We knew who each other were, but we weren't like, tight or anything. And they said, hey, this is when I was first starting, by the way. This is why I found myself in this situation. I was still starting. I was still a novice in the industry, but I agreed to do the music video with them, and I said, sure, great. They're going to do it at this, at this music studio that was, they actually spent like a lot of money on the hair and makeup. They got this crazy professional guy there to come do all that stuff. They paid a lot of money for the music studio, and they just wanted to give me like a couple $100.
Okay.
So the day of the shoot, they gave me $200. That was my mistake. I took the $200. The amount of runaround, first of all, that it took all day, right? And then the amount of editing and how crazy. It was not even my friend. It was my friend's mother. She was the one that gave me the money. It was her mother that went crazy with, I hate this, change this around, blah, blah, blah. And
again, though, but that goes back to the whole point that I was telling you. You see, you work for peanuts, and then people, for some reason,
oh my goodness,
always treat you like crap when you these cheap gigs.
Here's the thing, though. If I would have never taken the money, I could have, she has no grounds to feel like I owe her anything. I don't owe her anything if she didn't give me any money.
Right, but as soon as you pay, then you're expected to produce.
Exactly. As soon as she gave me money and I accepted it, she now feels like I owe her something.
But I think that goes back to, again, I mean, I know when people are starting out, you're going to do these odd jobs, but I think that's one of those situations. You do those odd jobs, exactly what you were saying. You're better off doing them for free, so that when people say, hey, like, when's it coming? You can say, look, I'm actually taking some paid work at the moment. I can't get through all that.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's why I brought that up, because one of my friends, he's like, hey, he's still waiting for his wedding video. They just want to see it. They haven't even seen it. I still have the footage there. Obviously, I've been busy. And he texted me today. He's like, hey, man, look, I'll pay you. I just want to see the video. I'm like, look, don't worry about it. I'll get on it. I'm not going to take any money from him.
I dealt like that with a friend once who asked me, knows I shoot video, could I just do exactly what you said, couple little shots at his wedding and a couple little video. Okay. And he's actually one of the wealthiest people I know. Right?
Okay.
And then when it came time, he was like, hey, actually, you know what? Can you just edit that for me? So I'm like, yeah, dude.
And it begins.
Yeah, I don't really want to edit. Like, I don't mind shooting. Yeah, because I can just show up to the event and shoot. Right. But editing is a whole nother beast, especially editing someone's boring wedding video. I was like, there's a reason why I chose not to be a wedding videographer.
Yep.
And I don't really want to edit people's soppy, like, love story, okay? It's not that interesting to me. I chose documentary stuff for a reason.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, then it turned into one of those things. I was like, dude, I really don't want to do it. I'll send you all the clips. And then I send him all the clips, and he's upset with me. What is this? What am I supposed to do with all this footage?
Stop.
I'm like, yeah, dude. And he's like, oh, can't you just edit it? I'm like, dude, oh my gosh. I don't ask you, can't you just do your like financing for me for free? And so I handed him off all the clips. And I was like, no, man. But I said, but if you want, I can get someone to edit it for you. Or how much is that? I was like, oh, $1,500. Oh, no, they didn't want to do that.
Oh, man.
Anyway, and in that lovely story, in your story earlier, my camera cut out, so you are going to get
Nice.
you're gonna get some three lovely clips today that you're going to have to piece together.
You know, for all that, I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to.
You have to charge me
Absolutely.
after all that
Believe
talk.
that. No, I'm not taking any money because you can't afford it. So
Well, before my battery cuts out, I think we
we
should
gotta
wrap up.
yeah, we're already past our time, man.
Yeah.
Today was a good one. Just want to remind, we actually got a couple more submissions for that interview contest that we're holding
Oh, very exciting.
today. So yeah, people are, I guess they're getting the message. So yeah, we're still hosting that interview contest. We have all the information on the show notes. We've been putting them on all the show notes on every podcast since we announced it. It's basically interview someone. Doesn't matter the topic. Doesn't matter the person. I definitely want to see the interviewer and how he conducts the interview. And if you need help with that, it's basically based on one of the podcasts. I believe is podcast number 36. I want to say. Mm-hmm. If you go to our feed, it is called The Art of Interviewing. Oh, wow, I was way off. Podcast number 32. So episode number 32, The Art of Interviewing. I go in depth on my process, on the interview process, on how I conduct interviews. And we're hosting a podcast, and it's sponsored by Rode. They're giving away 3 of their Rode Video Micros, which are pretty cool. I think you have that, right? You said you have that?
I do. I have many Rode mics. I love those. Right?
I do love Rode. So thank you to Rode. Big shout out to Rode Mics for hooking that up and being a believer of this podcast and supporting it as such. So thank you guys for that. And I think that brings us to the end of this episode, bud.
Well, my battery's about to die in a few seconds. But anyway, the next time I'll be chatting to you. I'm flying out on Friday to Madison, Wisconsin. So next time we'll be chatting, I'll be in the midst of filming those CrossFit Games.
Sweet. We got to talk about that afterwards.
Well, wish me luck. It's going to be a crazy shoot.
Well, good luck, man. Good luck. All right, man. So until next time, thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.